So it is spring 2019, and we have zero word from Apple on when their spring event is going to be held. Now, I'm pretty sure you're going to see invites coming out any time now. And by any time, I mean specifically between the week of March 11th and March 18th. Somewhere in that time frame, I believe the event itself will be held no later than that week of March 26th, with products becoming available before April 14th. Now, that's the what. The who? I'm Chris, and you're watching Commuting with Chris here on Battery Powered. Stay tuned for a little bit more on this Apple thing, because I think you can kind of figure out what they're going to be having at this event as well. At least I have. So here's what I think about it. I think we're going to see the AirPods 2. $199 release price. I think we're going to see some waterproof coating, a couple different colors. They'll probably have white first and then release the darker color later on. I think that eventually, these will be, they'll be compatible with AirPower now. They'll have wireless charging built in. And I think that you're going to see another story emerge later in the year where these are capable of being charged by an iPhone, but I'm not sure that it's going to be available at launch. They have had AirPods firmware updates before, so I think that will be something coming. Who cares about all that stuff, though? I think they're going to be the same old AirPods we know and love, maybe slight design changes. I think there'll be a new case to support possibly a larger battery and even more talk time, new Bluetooth so that they use less energy, I don't think you're going to see an overall design change for them, though. The big thing, I think that you'll see some health and wellness features, but I don't think you're going to see like fitness features built into them. You're not going to see heart rate monitoring and all that stuff. If you do, and it's $199, I'm pretty impressed. And full wireless and everything like the old AirPods, that's pretty darn cool. I also feel like they're going to talk about or hint at the later gen of AirPods, or whatever they call the Beats iteration of them. That will be the sort of fitness-minded ones with heart rate tracking that you can swim with or whatever. And those are going to come out later on this year. I don't think those are going to be ready for prime time yet. Other products I think they're going to be dropping are the new MacBook 12. It's been too long. There's just been too much silence about that guy. So I don't have a whole bunch of thoughts on what that's going to be yet. I could see them keeping the same form factor and growing the screen, but that doesn't make a lot of sense given that they just dropped an Air. I don't think Apple's going to do away with the 12 because there are people that want that ultra portable size and they're willing to give up the necessary ports to do it. But I do think that Apple will add a second port onto this one. I'm not sure that it'll get Thunderbolt or USB-C, but I would expect it to get a processor refresh, the new keyboards, and possibly some screen enhancements. Other fun. Well, there's the value tier iPad, the educational iPad. I would expect the screen to grow a little bit, but the size and shape not to change too much. This is a product line that Apple wants to have some longevity in the market that they're going into. I mean, if schools and stuff are buying it and they're buying cases, Apple doesn't want to have them to have to go buy new cases every year. It's an added expense. They'd rather have the old unit drop into the same case, so I don't think we're going to see a ton of change on that other than some CPU upgrades and most likely some more RAM. Where I think there'll be a more interesting iPad story this year is in the iPad mini. That's going to be amusing. I think that will be the new consumer low tier, value tier iPad if you don't want the 9.7 or the 10 or whatever they end up making that. I'll call it the iPad Classic, the other guy. And then I'll call the mini just to make it simple. I think the mini you're going to see same as the value tier iPad Classic, which will be, processor bumps. You're going to see some more RAM probably. I don't know that you'll see a larger screen, although I'm sure they could do it on the mini by now. I feel like the mini is, and this is if they announce it, I feel like this is a test by Apple to see if people really do want those size tablets. I mean, with the growing phones and the shrinking iPads and the shrinking bezels on the iPads, you can do so much more in a smaller space. I don't think that there's as much need for the mini. Now, I know all you mini lovers out there, I don't need pitchforks and torches. I'm just saying, I think that Apple's going to do this as a test. I don't think they're going to reinvent it. So if you're hoping for like a mini Pro, maybe they'll do pencil rework on it and you can get a pencil, it'll work with the old gen pencil or something. I don't think we're going to see USB-C. I don't think we're going to see keyboards. I don't think we're going to see any of that stuff. I think it's going to keep a lot of the same form factor. It's going to be pretty straightforward, and it will probably be very similarly priced to the iPad Classic model. It'll just offer, the smaller size or whatnot. Other than that, I feel like this is going to be the show where Apple talks about what we're going to see and giving some hints to future products. Oh, there's also probably going to be another speaker coming up. This might make sense to where they drop the HomePod, or they at least announce the HomePod 2, or whatever the more diminutive successor of the HomePod will be. If you've been watching the HomePod pricing, it's been sliding all over the place from $250 to $350 lately at a bunch of Apple retailers. So that to me usually hints that there's something else coming in the pipeline. So I guess the question I have is, what are you most looking forward to? What do you think that they're going to have? And I know I didn't talk about the software and the services offerings and all the other stuff. I firmly believe that Apple will be coming out and launching a video product this year, or a video services product, I should say, like a Netflix and Amazon, Hulu kind of thing. There's no doubt in my mind that that'll be happening. I don't know that this event will be around it unless they do a lead in with that, and then they talk about iPads and all the devices you can consume it on. But I think that this is going to be a good hinting event with a little bit of light hardware and mostly nods to the future to make sure that you're saving up your money for later on in the year. It's clear, looking at the roadmap ahead, Apple needs to come out with new MacBooks. They need to come out with a new iMac for sure, but I don't think we're going to see those here. Now, the one more wild card, if you're still here at 6 minutes, Mac Pro, right? They promised us one this year. So I think you're going to see hinting and talking, but I feel like that's going to come out around the June-July timeframe. That will be the big WWDC moneymaker. But I think it would be foolish if they announced they're headed for sale before then, because they're still capitalizing on the Mac Mini sales from everybody that went out and bought that thing, because Apple doesn't really sell a desktop computer. So anyways, what are you most looking forward to at this year's Apple Spring event? When do you think it's going to be? If it's not held in the next 2 weeks and I'm totally wrong, when are you going to come back and laugh at me? Till next time, thanks so much for watching this episode of Commuting with Chris here on Battery Powered. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe. Be well, folks.